Hi again guys, Mopsy here. Having spoken to a few people, I realised not many use the drawing package that comes with the Futura, so I thought I'd give a little quick overview on some of the drawing package options, and I'll probably split this up into quite a few videos because it's quite a how can I put it? There's a lot to learn on this. So here we go with a start with the blank Futura screen. I'm going to ask for a new file, blank hoop, and I'm going to say create a drawing package. Do I want to open an existing image or create a new one? And I want to create a new one. Okay, and what size do I want it? In my case, in inches. I'm going to ask for a 4" by 4". Okay, and what it's done is it's opened up my drawing package within my Futura software. And the reason I say that is because the drawing package only consists of these items on the toolbar along here and these options down the left. The menu at the top has nothing to do with this, really, with the drawing package. This is your Futura software in the background, and as you can see, most of the items here are grayed out because, as I say, the drawing package has opened within the Futura software. Now there's my 4" by 4" area, and I'm going to zoom to 100% to make it easier. And unlike most people who start at the top and work down, I'm going to start at the bottom and work up. First off, excuse me, the colors here, and you have the choice of two colors, one of which is going to fill an area that you draw, the other will be the border or the outline. And for purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to select the red with my left mouse button, and I'm going to select the blue with my right mouse button. So I've got two color choices selected, and this will make more sense in a minute. And the easiest item I can show you is probably the square box. So I'm going to click on the square or the rectangle over here on the menu. I hope you can see that. And I get a few choices here. I've got three boxes here. The first box is saying, do I want a box with a border with no fill? What we're actually looking at here is like a hollow box. The center choice is for a filled box with a border around the outside, and the third option here is for a filled box with no border. That will hopefully make more sense in a minute. And I'm going to come up here to start with and just draw a simple box, hollow box. I come onto my area, hold my mouse button down, drag, and then release, and it's done exactly what I've asked, which is a hollow box with a border, and it's used the red color I chose for this border. Now up here is my undo button, and be warned here, you only get one undo. That's it. If you draw an item and make a few changes and amendments and then click up here, undo, 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 forget it, it's not going to work. You only get one undo option. Of course, there are other ways you can erase and do other things to go back, but that's one downside I've found of this program, that you only get the one undo. So anyway, moving on, that was the hollow box with just the outline. The center choice here, if you can see that, is for a solid filled box with an outline. And again, I'm going to drag out, get to the shape that I want, on the size that I want, release. And this time, like it says here, I've got the solid filled box with an outline. And I'm going to undo that and come to my third option, which is a solid box, no outline. Drag down, release. There we have a solid filled box without the outline. And I'm going to undo that. And the rectangle, square, the circle, they have these options here of the hollow, the filled with an outline, the filled without an outline. You can also select how thick you want the line to be that draws the object. We just did the 3 boxes using the smallest line. If I come to the thickest line here, go to the option which has the filled box with an outline and just drag across. Now you can see I've got the filled box, but the outline that it's used is much thicker. You only have these choices. You can't go any larger or any smaller than this. So I'm going to undo that, and now I'm going to click on the next easiest one, which is a circle. Here we go, and you'll see the circle, or rather the ellipse, has those same 3 options. You can have a hollow ellipse, you can have a filled ellipse with a border, or you can have a filled ellipse with no border, whatever thickness option you like. So I'm going to go to the ellipse in the center, which is filled with a border this thickness, and again drag out until you get to where you want and release, and it's done exactly what it says on the packet. And I'm going to undo that and just show you one other option with this, which is to use your control key on your keyboard at the same time. If I click and hold my mouse down and drag it around, I can get the shape of the ellipse that I want. But now what I'm going to do is hold my control key down with it, and I've still got my mouse key held down. This forces it to be a perfect circle, and it doesn't matter where I move my mouse to, this will force the redraw of a perfect circle, as opposed to being able to change the shape. As soon as I hold my control key down, it's forcing the perfect circle. If I take my finger off the control key on the keyboard, then again I can go to the shape or the size that I want. Undo. The same applies for drawing the square and a few other options. I can move around freely with my mouse until I press my control key, then it forces a perfect square in this case. Take the finger off and it moves, put my finger on the control key and it creates a perfect circle. I'm going to undo that. So that's 2 of the basics here. This option here is for a rectangle. You've got the same choices of thickness, but here you've got the choice of how rounded you want the corners to be. So if I come up to the top here, drag out, you can see it's given us a square. If I undo that, move it down a little bit, and we're still on the rounded corner option now. Now you can see the corners have got a curve to them. And if I undo that and come down to the maximum, that is the most curve that you can get using these options here. Undo. If I come here and do the same thing, that's a filled as opposed to a hollow, and that's the only difference. If I undo that, if I come up to this one here, it's outline without a fill. So as I said, play around with these options. So I don't make this video too long, I'm going to stop this one where we're at the moment. So one last thing I'll show you on here, as it's a basic one. Your color options. You have these colors here, but let's say you wanted a flesh tone. If you come up to your either of the boxes, it doesn't matter, and click on them, it brings up your color selection choices, and you can come anywhere on the spectrum to create a color that you want. Let's say you want a flesh color. I'm going to pick flesh from the basic colors, or as close as I can, and then I'm just going to tweak it a little bit, add a little bit more there to make it more of a flesh color. And because this color I've chosen doesn't belong on the main palette, I'm going to actually add it to my custom colors. So I'm going to click add to custom colors, and there you can see it's created a block that I can come back to and use again. So I'm going to say OK to that, and there we have like a flesh tone that I've created. So now when I create a box or a circle, let's say I wanted to do a face, there we go, we've got like a flesh tone face. Undo that. So to change the color, click on one of the two color palettes here. If I come now and click on to the second block here, you can see that I've still got that custom color that I made in my block here. Let's say I want to go to a darker version of that. Let's come here, or let's say a slightly pinker version of that. And again, because this color I've created doesn't belong on the standard palette, I can add it to my custom colors and say OK. And now I have this second color that I've created as an option. For the most part, to be honest, you're going to be using the standard palette, because most people make the choice of embroidery thread, which doesn't always correspond to the color blocks that are on the screen. So lots of options there. I'm going to leave it at that. So to quickly recap, on a square you can have a hollow square, a filled with a border, a filled without a border, at whatever thickness that you like. The same applies to the circle, hollow, filled with a border, filled without a border. You hold your mouse key down and drag it around to get the shape or the size that you're after. If you hold it with your control key, then it forces either the perfect square or the perfect circle. And then the color choices here, one of them is your fill color, one of them is your border color. So when you're finished doing this, you can save your design. If you go to close it, it'll ask you if you want to save it or exit. I'm not going to save this, I'm just going to exit it, and that takes me back to my standard Futura screen. I hope this all made sense, and I will talk to you soon with the next section.